Hey fashion lovers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's tutorial is a quick and easy step to making this straight pants. So I made this in olive green as you can see, and I just love the way it's sitting perfectly on my body, so I decided to make it in another color, ash. As you can see, the pants is well fitted. It can serve as an office pants or casual wear. You can pair with a corset or suit. Now, if you want me to show you different ways to style this pants, do let me know in the comment section. So without further ado, let's get into the purpose of this video, which is making this gorgeous pants. Let me take you back to a time when. So I have my fabric folded into two already, and then the starting line, which is my waistline, and then from that point I took my waist to hip of 8.5 inches, and then my flap line, which is 10.75. Now this flap line is my round hip divided by 4, and then I went ahead to mark my knee line, which is 21 inches, and then also my full length of the pants. So I'm making use of 42 inches, so you can increase yours. Just measure yourself how long you want your pants to be. So for this green one, I didn't want it to be very long rubbing the ground, but for the ash color I made it about 47 inches. So like I said, depending on the length you want. So here's how I'm going to be placing my body measurement. I'll be dividing my waist into 4, my hip is into 4. Then when I get to my lap measurement, I'll be dividing it by 2, my knee by 2, just like that. So the only place you're dividing by 4 is just the waist and the hip. As you can see, I came in by 1.5 inch on the waistline, and then I'll move over to my length, the full length of my pants, and take 1.5 inch inward, just as I did for the waist. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to connect both lines together from the length of the trouser to the waist, and of course I'll be slanting it as I'm going upwards. So if you have a longer ruler, it will be more easier, but I'm just going to make use of what I have. So after connecting it upwards, you can see that the line on the hip is slanted. So of course I'll be using my curved ruler to give it a bit of curve because it's the hip area, so it has to be curved. So guys, I hope you can see what I've done already. So the next thing I'll be doing now is taking my body measurement, my round body measurement. So on the waistline, I went ahead to divide my round waist into 4, like I said before. So from the side shape that I marked already, I took quarter of my waist measurement and then add 2-inch sewing allowance. Then on the hip line, I'll take quarter of my hip measurement, which is my hip divided by 4. And then after doing that, I will add 1 inch at the hip area. Now there's a reason for adding just 1 inch on the hip area. I will go ahead to explain that in the course of this video. So now after taking that point now on the third line, which is my crouch line. Now guys, remember I said that to get the crouch line for this type of pants is just basically to divide your hip into 4. So now on that crouch line, I will take half of my round lap. You can go ahead to measure your client's round lap, or if you're seeing for yourself, and then you place it there. Then you're going to add 1 inch. So that side part didn't show. After adding the 1 inch for the lap allowance, I will go ahead to connect the curve, which you've seen already. I've already gone ahead to connect the curve. So guys, one thing I want to add is if you're making a high waist pants using the same pattern, you need to measure your flap line. For high waist pants, you can't use quarter of your hip for your flap. Now I'll go over to the M part of my trouser, and what I marked on my lap measurement was 15 inches. So I went ahead to mark the same 15 inches on the hemline. You can see the way I placed my tape, and then after getting that 15 inches, I came in by 1.5 inch. So guys, after doing this, I will go ahead to connect meeting that point to my flap line as shown. So the next thing I'll be doing, I will come down from my waistline by 1 inch and then slant it to the side part. Now note I said I was going to explain the reason why I came out by 1 inch on the hip line. As you can see, the flab, the line is curved. Now the reason why I'm doing this is because of the flab area, which is the crotch area. This is going to remove any kind of excess on that area. So now after connecting the waist curve, as you can see, I can go ahead to cut out my front pants. Now this is easy peasy now, right guys? So guys, at this point in time, you should know that this pants is quite easy. If you're finding this video helpful, please do well to subscribe to the channel and drop a like as I continue. So guys, after cutting out my front pattern, I folded the remaining part of the fabric into two and then placed one part of the front part on it to be able to draft out my back. So I came down from the top of the fabric with about 2 to 3 inches before the front waistline. Now this is because of the butt at the back, so we have to increase the back waistline. So now at the flap line, I will come out by 2 inches and then I'll go ahead to mark and then rule a straight line to meet with the front flap line. So it's going to be equal. So 2 inches for the extension for the flap to the back. And then on the hemline, I'll mark 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect from that hemline to the flap line as shown. So then on the waistline, remember I came down by 1 inch for the front waistline. So I'll go ahead to mark that 1 inch back and then I'll increase it again by another 1 inch. So I replace the 1 inch for the front flap and then add another 1 inch. So I'll go ahead to connect that to the side parts of the pants. So now the next thing I'm going to do at that curved part of the flap, I went ahead to mark 2 inches. Now you can see the line I drew for the front flap meeting to the raised waistline. I will go ahead to connect the curve like so, as you can see. So that's how you get your back curved flap. So at this point now I can go ahead to cut out the marked lines and follow the shape of the side as shown. So just watch and see the way I'm cutting it so you can cut yours like that. So after cutting the flap, I remember that I need to add 1 inch to the side. Now the reason for doing this is because of the darts at the back. So I don't normally fix that at the front of my pants. I fix to the back. So I'll connect that 1 inch to my hip line and then I'll just cut following the shape. So now we're done cutting the front and the back part of the pants. So move on to the sewing parts. So I want to begin by fixing the darts for the back. So I just went ahead to mark the wideness of the dart, which is 5.5 inches, and then I'll go ahead to take that straight down. And for the length, I marked 5 inches. So making it a 5 inches for the length, and I'll mark the same thing for the other side of the back pattern. And then I'll take it to my sewing machine to fix the darts. And so for the front part of the pants, let me just call it trouser. So for the front part of the trouser, I will go ahead to join the two flap area together and sew with 1/2 inch. So I have my flap already neatly sewn. So the next thing I want to do is fix the pockets. So I have this little fabric remaining and that's what I'll be using to cut out the pockets. So I've already cut out one pocket. So I want to illustrate how to cut out the second one. Now, when I finished sewing, the pocket was now a bit small. So whatever measurement I'm showing you now, you should go ahead to increase yours if you want a more deep pocket. So I'm using 10 inches for this one for the length, and then on one side I went ahead to mark 7 inches. Then on the top part I marked 5 inches. So I made use of 7 by 5. So if you're making yours, you can increase the length and also increase the wideness with like 1 or 2 inch. And then I curve the bottom part a little bit, which is the widest part. So now I'll go ahead to cut out the pocket and show you how to fix it to the pants. So I open up the front of my pants, and then I just went ahead to place one side of the pocket to one side of the trouser, and then I placed it front side facing front side. So the pocket is going to have the same shape with the side part of the pants. So if your pocket is longer, it will be more better, but because of shortage of fabric, I had to work with what I have. So I'll be showing you how to fix the pocket with this one side, then I will go ahead to fix the other one off camera. So I place my pocket front side facing front side of my trouser. So on the waistline, I'll go ahead to mark 2.5 inches. And then for the length, I'll be making use of 7 inches, or you can choose to increase yours to 8 inches because after joining, the side part is going to reduce. So I went ahead to draft the shape like so, and then I'll be sewing along the line. So after sewing, I'll take out my pins and then cut the excess, leaving about half an inch. And then after doing that, I will just go ahead to notch the seam, and then I'll top stitch the seam to the pocket side. So after top stitching the side of the pocket, this is how it's going to look. Now the next thing I want to do is fold the pocket, but first of all I want to secure that folded part with pins. So you can go ahead to add fat to that part before ironing it. So I will just go ahead to secure that part I'm supposed to iron with pins for now. I can go ahead to iron it later. So after doing that, I'll go ahead to bring my pocket together like so. And this is how it's going to look like. So now this is what I have after folding it like so. So I want to go ahead to sew just the pocket facing with half an inch. The bottom part is open, so I will go ahead to sew the curved part to the side part. So then after finishing the pocket facing, I will just go ahead to top stitch the top parts. You can see the part that I'm pinning, and then the side parts to hold down the pockets. So now this is the front side after finishing my pockets. I've not ironed it yet, but see how it look relaxed and it looks so neat. So the next thing I want to do is join the side of the trouser. So firstly, I will go ahead to measure my waist to hip, which is 8.5 inches. And then remember that on that waistline, we came out by 1 inch for the back part. So I'll go ahead to mark that 1 inch and then mark my waist to hip. Then for that hip line, I will take half an inch. So I'll be sewing following that shape from the hip line half an inch straight down to the hem part of the pants. So after joining the both side of the trouser, the next thing I want to go ahead to do is shape the back side. So I folded it into two. Now I will go ahead to take my round body measurements. So for my waistline, I divided my waist into two because now this is the wideness. This is supposed to be into four if I folded the fabric into four, but I'll be dividing it into two, and then I'll mark my waist measurements. So if you're making use of a very stretchy fabric, then you have to stretch your fabric when taking the measurements. So on the hip line, I'll go ahead to divide my round hip into two and then mark the points on the flap line. So after marking that point, On the end of the flap, I'll just make use of half an inch. Since I joined the front flap with half an inch, I will be joining the part with half an inch. So I just went out to draw out the line that I will be sewing on, visible so you can see. So I'll be sewing following the on that shape. So if you want to fix zipper on the back of your pants, you can just fix your zipper following that shape. But I don't want to be fixing zipper to the back. I want to put the zipper at the side part. So I will lose the side part a bit down, then fix my zipper, which should be after fixing the band. So after shaping the side of the trouser, I will go ahead to join the both flap line together of the front and the back. So you need to make sure that the seam line are on the same point. So I will just pin the two legs together and then go ahead to sew with half an inch. So after sewing, I went ahead to fit it to my body and I noticed that it was a bit wide or bigger than my actual measurement. This is because of the stretch of the fabric. But when I use the same technique for making another pants with a fabric that was not too stretchy, it just fitted perfectly. But because of the stretch of the fabric, I had to hold the sides with half an inch again so that it can be my exact size. Now you should fit your pants first before you finish it up. But if you know you're not working with a very stretchy fabric, then you're good to go. So like I said before, I only hold the sides again with another half inch because of the fabric I was working with. It was very stretchy. But if you're working with a very thick fabric or fabric with no stretch, maybe Ankara fabric, then you're good to go. But always fit your pants first before you fix the band and finish it up. So you can see that the waist is not straight, it has curve. So this is how I'm going to place it on my fabric to cut out my band. So I have this fabric on fold and this one I'm going to use to cut the waistband. So then I turn my pants trouser to the front side and then I'll just place it on the fabric as if you're cutting a peplum. So I'll use my pins to secure it so that I can cut out the shape of the waist. Let me take you back. So after doing this, I'll just go ahead to draw out the shape of the waist. You can add excess to the end so that after fixing it, you just go ahead to trim out the excess. It's better that it is too wide than having it too small. So then the next thing I will do is following that curve of the waist, I will go ahead to mark the wideness of the band. So I'm making use of 2.5 inch. So you can increase yours to 3 inches, but I prefer to use 2.5 inch. So this is going to be the shape of the band. So I'll go ahead to cut this and then cut another one because it is going to be two. One will serve as the main band and the other one will be the lining of the band. So this is the two pieces of the band. If you have interfacing, you can iron on one side, but I'm just going to show you how to sew it quickly. So I'm just going to place the two pieces front side facing front side and I'll be sewing the top part of the band with half an inch. And then after sewing, I'll just go ahead to top stitch and iron it. So after sewing, I went ahead to top stitch on the part serving as the lining and then I also went ahead to iron the band. So I notch the midpoint of the band and then I place it on the midpoint of the pants. So in this case, the midpoint is going to be the sides of the pants. So one of the side is going to be the midpoint. But if your zipper is going to be at the back, then your midpoint will be at the center front. It's going to be at the flap line on the center front. But for this case, my zipper is on one of the side of the pant. So hence my midpoint is going to be on the other side. So I'll just go ahead to fix the band. So after pinning it to one end, I'll do the same thing to the other end and then sew with half an inch. So now after fixing the band, you can see how it has the curve of the waist. So this is how you're going to fix your band instead of fixing it as a straight band. So after doing that, I just went ahead to fix my zipper after sewing the band. And then the next thing I'll be doing is to hem the bottom of the pant. So you just need to take your length of your pants and then hem the remaining part, which is your seam allowance at the bottom part. And that is all for the pants. So guys, tell me if you find this video helpful. If you do, please do well to drop a nice comment, drop a like, and do not forget to subscribe if you want to see more amazing content on this channel. Thank you guys for watching. See you in another tutorial.